The Propagation of the Gospel 19. The Apostles' visit to Jerusalem and the persecution stirred up against him by the Jews. From what we've seen so far, I don't see anything in terms of revelation, so can't be a messenger prophet in that sense, or anything in terms of inspiration, the exemplar prophet role that you see in tonic, that you see in Jesus saying, I don't speak my own doctrine of the one that sent me. Paul, as a general principle, is motivated by it, but we're seeing a different definition for apostleship, aren't we? Very soon after writing the epistle to the Romans, Paul took up his departure from Corinth and, accompanied by several brethren, journeyed through Macedonia, visiting the churches there and spending some time at Thessalonica and Philippi. From the latter place he embarked by ship and went to Troas, where after some days he remarked and began the voyage along the coast towards Caesarea, stopping at various ports on the way of this journey and voyage as far as Mytilene, where he had the deeply interesting meeting with the representatives of the Ephesian church. We have had a brief account in number 9. From Mytilene, they pursued their course to Tyre on the Syrian coast, where they also found, as already in almost every considerable city, a company of disciples with whom they tarried a few days. From thence to Ptolemais, the modern Acre, it was a short voyage, and the remainder of the journey appears to have been by land. Paul himself had prophetic forebodings of serious experiences and sore trials awaiting him, and there were other inspired disciples, both men and women, who predicted much temporal evil as a result of his present journey. Yet he felt as though led by the Spirit to go on and meet whatever was ordained for him. Now, I'm not saying he was an oracle reader, but any deep psychological tool, you're going to find that people, that people are better about guessing in regards to the future and the past and addressing things like that. Doesn't mean there's any direct spiritual guidance, but of course it's up to the biblical reader and people who respond to programs like this to make their own decisions as to what they're going to believe about it. He had scarcely been at Jerusalem even a few days when the outcry against him began, and he was soon after arrested and was doubtless only saved from violence by asserting to the Roman officer his rights as a Roman citizen. Foiled in their purposes to destroy him under the color of law, his enemies laid a plot for his assassination. Fortunately, this was discovered and brought to the ears of the military governor, who sent Paul away secretly with the guard to Caesarea, the residence at that time of the governor of the province. Here he was detained for some time and had a hearing before a magistrate, and should have been set at liberty, but being detained on one pretext or another, and fearing that he might be again exposed to the machinations of the Jews, he appealed to the supreme authority at Rome, and thus precluded any further danger of a trial at Jerusalem, and was by this means also, though in a way far different from what he had contemplated, that he was permitted to visit Rome. Acts 21, 22, 23. Nero was the emperor in 54 through 68. Areopagus Events of the lesson, April 16 to May 25th of the year 58 of the Common Era. Voyage from Miletus to Tyre, stopping places on the way, Acts 21, 1 through 3. Can you give any account of this latter city, either from sacred or secular history? What dissuasion was attempted by the brethren there? Verse 4, religious services at the departure, 5 and 6, continued journey and arrival at Caesarea, family of a man whom we have previously heard, gift of the daughters. What were the predictions of the prophetic? Agabus, 7 through 11. What did Paul's friends endeavor to do? On this account, journey to and reception at Jerusalem, verses 12 through 17. Conference with James the Apostle. James is Yaqub, with a Yaqub. I don't think I said it with a Q, but yeah. Jacobus, no, I don't remember the Greek, but and with the elders of the church and the report of the work among the non-Jews. By non-Jews, I mean, not of the tribe. 18 through 20, advice of the elders, 21 through 25, what apprehensions had been created among the Christian Jews concerning Paul's teaching of the Gentiles. What did their rigid Judaism lead them to think concerning the Gentile converts? What had been previously determined by the elders on this subject, 21 through 25. See also 25, 23 through 29. Why then enjoin upon Paul that he should observe the ceremonies, 24. What occurred while Paul was thus engaged, 27 and 28. Who were the men crying out thus against Paul? What misapprehension was used? Verse 29. Excitement and riot, attempt to kill Paul, and how prevented? 30 through 32. What did the officer do and what followed? 33 through 36. Paul's request of the captain and the latter's surprise when he found what kind of man he was. Permission given him to speak. 37 through 40. Paul's address. 22, 1 through 21. What is the main topic? 5 through 16. In what language did he speak? How does the narrative of his conversion differ from that in chapter 9? What does he say took place when he returned to Jerusalem? What hearty and humble confession does he make? 17 through 20. What remark greatly enraged the people and why? What did they do? 21 through 23. Order of the officer, why not carried out? Officer's apparent doubt, and what respect was Paul's citizenship superior to that of the Roman captain? 24 to 28. What was done the next day? 29 and 30. Remember, politics just means what you do as a citizen. Paul's address before the Sanhedrim. Is it I don't remember the name, but Reem would be, so where the word of would have came from because it ends in the yim, plural. Insolent violence toward him, indignant rebuke, remonstrance, and apology. 23, 1 through 5. Adroit announcement which caused a division in the anti-Christian party and the consequence, 6 through 9. Paul taken under care of the Roman authority, 10. Paul's vision and assurance, 11. Conspiracy and oath-bound plot of his enemies and attempts to carry it out. How was it frustrated? 21 and 22. The Roman officers' plan for delivering Paul, conveyance to Caesarea, and custody there, 23 through 35. And the thing, it sounds like, from what we're reading, which I'm, definitely encounter now, a lot of people
may be accepting Christianity because they, back then and to this day, because they see spiritual and other laws that they don't want to follow, or they just want to say they don't want to deal with some of the consequences, and they're saying, well, I'm Christian. I don't have to follow the ceremony. I don't have to I don't have to atone for my wrongdoing. Jesus did it for me. But we're seeing elsewhere how that was kind of, even the Pauline side of the Bible, you're seeing this idea that, well, you got to show your belief. Maybe it's not saying that you have to make up for the wrong you did, but it is saying that from now on, you've got to have your act together to prove that you were saved, that's what repentance is. It isn't just, well, I regret it and I've admitted that I regret it, so I'm going to go on with my life. Some people definitely get worse as individuals once they become Christian. Go from trying to reform themselves, trying to be a self-correcting individual, and then they're all, Jesus paid for my sins, so I don't really have to do anything to make up for anything that I do. But it's all in the person, regardless of the doctrine, regardless of the spiritual path. It's up to the person what they're going to do with it, and that's where responsibility lies, isn't it?